air conditioning on this 2000 Benz E320, and right now I'm performing the refrigerant analyzer testing what the refrigerant is. History, he just finished cleaning it up. It's getting ready for sale. And if you see something in the camera right about there, you see that green, I took off to see if anybody worked on it, and that is really obvious. And now I'm testing. Oh, it looks like it's empty, so there's nothing in there now. And I think this has been dead for a long time. There was no dye, so they cleaned out where they put the dye in, but when they used gauges where they took their high side off, they didn't clean it out there. But I can see, and this is what I can see using the UV beast. Come on, focus. Don't want to focus. Okay, so you can see how bright it is. That's just pure dye from their gauges. There was nothing in there, but I see it spilt down all over there. So they made a mess when they were trying to put it in and use their fitting. I see dye everywhere. So they made a mess when putting in the dye. Nothing around the front seal, but this car was just detailed really good, and so I usually can't find anything. But what I did notice was when I can grab a clutch, I always try to spin the clutch, and I could not spin this clutch when I put my hand on it. I literally had to grab it really tight and jerk it back and forth a few times, and then when I tried to spin it, it was really tight. There were some tight spots, and then after moving it a little while, it started spinning freely. So when that happens, that usually tells me it hasn't engaged in a long time, and there's probably even moisture contamination and the oxidation of the aluminum to the cylinder walls. A little bit of corrosion happened, and it gets really tight and you can't move it. And sometimes right where the piston rings are, or metal to metal contact, little electrolysis with the acid and different metals. So you have slightly acidic refrigerant oil, you have moisture content, you have aluminum piston, a steel cylinder, or something, different metals sometimes. And in those gaps where the metal touches, it gets a little corrosion. So when you go to turn the compressor, it's really tight. It's like it's locked up. So I thought this was bad at first, but then I got it broken loose, and now it spins free. And that's usually an indication it was dead for quite a while and has never worked in a long time. And so I'm going to pump this up and look for some leaks. I'm going to hit it with some high pressure nitrogen and look for something really fast and obvious first. And then I'll pump in a little refrigerant and use the electronic leak detector. So if I hook up my gauges, I see 0 psi, I'll jump to nitrogen. I know it's close to 0 psi because this doesn't detect the gas, so that's telling me it's really low, and that's why I'm doing the nitrogen first before throwing refrigerant in. All right, let's see what happens.